Hey there, welcome back. Today we're unveiling 11 mind-blowing psychological facts about women that will change how you see the world. Brace yourself. 97% of men have no clue about these secrets and face rejection. But guess what? You can join the elite 5% who truly stand out by understanding these facts. Ladies, this isn't just for the guys. Knowing these truths about yourself will make you magnetic and irresistible. Before we dive in, could you do me a quick favor? If you're excited to uncover these secrets, smash that like button. It allows us to bring you more powerful Stoic wisdom. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our latest videos. Let's keep this fun. If you love this topic, drop a 1 in the comments. If you think we can improve, type 0 and let us know how. Let's jump into these incredible insights that will transform your understanding of women and relationships. Psychological fact. Number 1. Women fall in love because of the smell. According to one study, if a woman enjoys the smell of a man, she is more likely to fall for him. The Federal University of Rio de Janeiro reports that her love for him has increased by 85%. Women have 50% more neurons in their olfactory bulb than men, making them more sensory seekers. Understanding how to choose the appropriate fragrance will give you a significant advantage in attraction. Stay until the end of the video to find out which fragrances stimulate your senses the most. Psychological fact. Number 2. Women prefer men who have their way. Going too far with a woman will almost certainly result in rejection. However, if you show her respect and a little neediness, she will make herself available. Develop trust with her and feel free to touch. It's always important to read her body language and recognize the signals or gestures she makes. Psychological fact. Number 3. Women feel something when they are near you, but do not express it. If a woman piques your interest, avoid becoming her friend from the moment you meet her. According to one study, 68% of women said they would consider having a love affair with a man if they knew they could get their way. That's why I recommend making it clear from the start, albeit subtly, that you like her. If you ask in the comments, I'll tell you how. Psychological fact number 4. Women pre-select. A phenomenon similar to womanizing reveals that when other women show interest in men, they find them 3 times more appealing. This also occurs when a group of women surrounds a man, so I recommend making female friends and going out with them to see how other women perceive you. These friends don't have to be interested in you beyond providing company and creating that pre-selection effect, which will increase the interest of other women in you and make it easier for you to flirt with the woman you like. Psychological fact number 5. If she teases you, she is interested. If a woman teases you and calls you nicknames, she is most likely attracted to you and uses playful behavior to gain your trust. When it comes to falling in love, women often act with their bodies. If you are truly interested in her language and playful teasing, I recommend that you help her achieve her goal by taking an interest in her. Playing along is one way to take advantage of her game. You can tell her what she wants to hear by saying, "I know you call me that because you like it. Do you think I've noticed?" Psychological fact. Number 6. Women prefer men who understand their language. Women appreciate when you notice their body signals, whether consciously or unconsciously, because not all men understand them or the language they use to fall in love. Unlike men, women are shy and hesitate to express their love for you. They hate rejection and will avoid it at all costs. They do not even consider the possibility of a man rejecting them, so they express their feelings through body language. If a woman makes an intentional gesture to make you fall in love, she expects you to follow suit. If she sees that you don't understand what she's trying to convey with the signal, she may remain silent and forget about it. Ask me for the next information in the comments. It's a fascinating psychological strategy. Psychological fact number 7. Women are especially concerned about their appearance during intimate activities. They are most concerned with maintaining their appeal regarding the design and color of what they wear beneath their clothes. Instead of remaining silent, compliment her on how attractive she appears while engaged in intimate activities. You'll notice that boosting her ego this way makes her more likely to put on prettier and more eye-catching outfits for you, motivating her to see you again. Psychological fact number 8. When a man connects with a woman, she experiences more sensations. If you understand the psychological complexity of the female mind, you can increase her satisfaction with intimate activities. Because women are less physical than men and operate more through the mind and sensations, I recommend being less direct and relying on sub-communication to connect with them before attempting anything together. Take your time with her, encourage her to express herself emotionally, and make her feel you understand her completely. The following will make her love you more, but you must be extremely cautious. Psychological fact number 9. Women adore their friends more than their partners. Some women love their best friends more. It has been demonstrated that women's friends elicit stronger emotions than their boyfriends. When a woman leaves her partner at home to meet with a friend, her mind becomes more sensitive as she prepares for the encounter. She is confident that her friend will not judge her and will provide emotional support. They experience emotional satisfaction with their friend, which they mistake for love. So, it's best to keep your girl away from trusted friends because betrayal can happen anytime. Psychological fact number 10. Women accept only dates for food. According to American surveys, 38% of women accept dates in exchange for free food, highlighting the complexities of determining why a woman agrees to a date. Before you ask a girl out, ensure she is genuinely interested in you. If you want to know how to tell if a girl likes you, ask me in the comments. Remember, I'll tell you at the end of this video. Psychological fact number 11. When women are upset, they prefer that you approach them. A woman who is upset with you will feel better if you pay attention and show empathy. This allows you to understand why she is upset. Women are difficult at times, but they were born with the ability to feel emotions. They do not have the same emotional stability as men. Positive and negative emotions stimulate women, so they frequently fall for guys who mistreat them. I will explain this later. For now, get comfortable with the emotional games that women enjoy playing. In light of the first psychological fact, namely the senses that arouse women, we present a selection of commonly used aromatic essences. A study conducted in 2017 tested jasmine and lavender on 2 groups of men and 1 group of women. Each of these women spent time with 2 men separately. One wore a perfume without these 2 fragrances, while the other wore a perfume with a jasmine-based aroma. Jasmine-based fragrances stimulate women and increase their interest in perfumes. These fragrances can be found in several perfumes on the market, including the well-known French Orphin and the Pays Basque Eclectic. Thank you for watching the video until the end. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Inconsistent stories. Behind every smile is a story, but can you tell if it is genuine or a mask? Be wary of storytellers whose stories veer off course. The stories of fake people are frequently inconsistent, revealing a facade they struggle to maintain. People are like chameleons, constantly changing their stories to suit the situation or audience. Narratives frequently change dramatically over time as people forget the details of their fabrications or come across new stories that better serve their purpose. This inconsistency is not a flaw, but a deliberate strategy used to manipulate or impress others. Inconsistent stories are indicative of a lack of authenticity. Real people with authentic experiences do not need to. Although they may forget minor details, their life stories are consistent. In contrast, fake people frequently become entangled in a web of deceptions as they try to keep track of their various stories. As discrepancies become more apparent, this behavior can especially damage personal relationships. In both professional and personal relationships, telling inconsistent stories can erode trust. If you cannot trust someone to tell you the truth about their past, how can you trust them with your future? In professional settings, these inconsistencies can lead to a toxic workplace environment in which colleagues cannot rely on one another and superiors cannot make sound decisions. Identifying such people requires paying close attention to what they say over time. Patterns of inconsistent behavior may emerge. This vigilance is not about being paranoid, but about protecting oneself against possible manipulation or deception. Question the narrative and seek clarification. In some cases, asking for more details or clarification can reveal a false story, as the person may struggle to maintain the facade under scrutiny. Superficial connections. Scratch the surface and you'll find shallow roots. Fake people prefer breadth over depth. Their relationships rarely form meaningful bonds, and they have numerous acquaintances rather than true friends. These relationships are based on what others can provide rather than mutual respect and genuine affection. Superficial connections are strategies for navigating social environments. A lack of depth and understanding characterizes these shallow and fake relationships. People do not devote the time and emotional energy to establish genuine connections. Even if they know many people, their knowledge of them is often limited to the most basic details, such as names and job titles. There is no sharing of personal struggles, in-depth conversations about hopes and dreams, or genuine connection. This approach to relationships is fundamentally self-centered. Fake people interact with others solely to gain social status, professional advantages, or other benefits. They frequently flip between groups, always looking for the most advantageous association. In doing so, they overlook the true value of deep, meaningful relationships that provide comfort in difficult times and joy in beneficial times. Such superficial connections can severely affect those who form relationships with these phony people, causing feelings of being used and unappreciated. Being surrounded by fake people can lead to a lonely existence without genuine companionship and support. They may find themselves surrounded by people, but have no real connection with any of them. Identify such superficiality by observing patterns in how people discuss their relationships. Do they only discuss what others can do for them? Do they frequently switch social circles? This behavior is frequently seen in excessive flattery in personal and professional settings. Excessive flattery can create a false impression, a sense of trust, or conceal true intentions. It could be a ploy to gain favor or distract from a lack of competence or commitment. In professional settings, the danger of this behavior stems from its ability to deceive and manipulate, resulting in an environment where empty words overshadow genuine talent and effort. Furthermore, people who frequently use excessive flattery struggle with authenticity in other areas of their lives. They may view relationships differently, seeing them as transactional rather than reciprocal connections. This can lead to a superficial social circle in which people are valued based on their abilities rather than their personalities. Learning to distinguish between genuine praise and flattery is critical for navigating such deception. Genuine compliments are typically specific about actual accomplishments or qualities and are given without expectation. In contrast, flattery frequently appears vague, exaggerated, or unrelated to actual accomplishments. Understanding these distinctions can help identify people who use excessive flattery as a deception tactic. Lack of empathy is another issue. A hollow heart cannot empathize. Insincere people frequently demonstrate a lack of genuine concern and empathy for others. A person's lack of empathy is considered a major red flag. Those unable or unwilling to connect emotionally with others frequently ignore their feelings and needs, focusing solely on their desires and goals. A person's lack of empathy can appear in a variety of ways. It may manifest in their indifference to others' difficulties or their inability to celebrate others' successes truly. They may ignore the emotional well-being of those around them or refuse to provide support. In extreme cases, a lack of empathy can lead to manipulative or harmful behaviors, with the individual failing to consider or care about the consequences of their actions on others. This characteristic is especially harmful in personal or professional relationships. A lack of empathy can stifle the formation of deep, meaningful connections, resulting in one-sided relationships in which one person's needs and feelings are consistently ignored or undervalued. In professional settings, it can lead to a hostile and uncooperative environment. Colleagues and employees may feel underappreciated and misunderstood. Identifying a lack of empathy requires observing how people react to situations. Do they express genuine concern when others are upset or distressed? Can they celebrate other people's achievements without making it about themselves? Do they demonstrate understanding and patience in difficult situations? Answering these questions can help determine whether a person lacks empathy, a necessary component of genuine and healthy relationships. Manipulative behavior strings are for puppets, not humans. Fake people frequently manipulate others for personal gain, ignoring the emotions of those around them. This manipulative behavior is a deliberate strategy for controlling or influencing others to achieve one's goals, and it can take many forms, ranging from subtle emotional manipulation to outright exploitation. Such behavior is fundamentally selfish and shows a complete disregard for the well-being and autonomy of others. Manipulators frequently have a strong understanding of human psychology and use it to their advantage. They may use guilt, charm, coercion, or deception to achieve their goals. This manipulation can be particularly dangerous because it frequently goes unnoticed until significant harm has occurred. Victims of manipulation may feel confused, guilty, or even responsible for the manipulator's actions. Manipulative behavior in relationships can create a toxic dynamic in which one person feels constantly pressured to meet the other's demands or expectations, potentially leading to a loss of self-esteem. Recognizing and managing anxiety and emotional distress in professional settings, as well as dealing with manipulative behavior, is critical to maintaining healthy respect and authenticity. Understanding these tactics and taking protective measures can help build relationships. When things get tough, connections based on mutual respect and genuine understanding become more common than manipulation and deception. The fakes get going, those who only appear in good times and disappear during difficult times. This pattern of frequent disappearance indicates a fair-weather friend or colleague who is only there for the ride, not the journey. These people are quick to celebrate shared successes or joyous occasions, but are noticeably absent during adversity. The harm caused by this behavior is not only its absence, but also the creation of a false sense of dependability in people who frequently disappear and betray the trust placed in them, leaving friends, family, and colleagues feeling abandoned and unsupported. In relationships, it can lead to feelings of loneliness and betrayal as the individual realizes their connection was based on positive circumstances. Professionally, it can disrupt team dynamics and impede progress because these individuals fail to contribute during times of stress or difficulty. Identifying such individuals requires careful observation of patterns over time. It is important to recognize who is present during success or celebration and who remains loyal and reliable when situations become difficult, as demonstrated in adversity rather than ease. Broken promises. A castle built on promises is built on nothing. Fake people readily make commitments but rarely follow through. This tendency to break promises indicates a lack of integrity and dependability. Making a promise is essentially giving one's word. Breaking it is a sign of disrespect to both the recipient and oneself. It undermines trust and damages relationships. Broken promises, whether personal or professional, have consequences that go beyond immediate disappointment. Consistently breaking promises can lead to a loss of credibility and respect. In personal relationships, it can cause emotional distress, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty and insecurity. In professional settings, it harms one's reputation and may jeopardize career opportunities and relationships with co-workers. When dealing with people prone to breaking promises, it is critical to establish clear expectations and boundaries that hold them responsible for their commitments. This can sometimes result in a behavior change. Protecting oneself from the potential negative consequences of unreliability is also crucial, which means avoiding reliance solely on promises. Excessive self-promotion is another issue. In their universe, the spotlight never dims. Fake people are self-centered and constantly seeking attention, so they often exaggerate. Excessive self-promotion stems from a deep desire for validation and admiration rather than confidence or a strong sense of self. Such people frequently have an inflated sense of importance and believe they deserve constant recognition and praise. This behavior can be disruptive in both personal and professional settings. Personal relationships can lack balance if one person's needs and accomplishments precede everyone else's. Professionally, it can foster a toxic environment where collaboration and teamwork are undermined by one individual's desire to stand out at all costs. Recognizing excessive self-promotion requires focus. How do people discuss themselves and their accomplishments? Do they consistently dominate conversations? Do they exaggerate or fabricate details in their accomplishment stories to appear more successful or significant? These patterns may indicate borderline self-promotional behavior and inauthenticity. Untrustworthy instincts. Trust your instincts. Frequently, our instincts detect authenticity before our minds can rationalize it. This intuitive feeling is a valuable tool for detecting fake people. Our subconscious can detect subtle cues and inconsistencies that the conscious mind may ignore or rationalize away. However, it is important to remember that instincts are not infallible. Our biases and past experiences can influence them. So, while listening to your instincts is important, they must be balanced with rational thought and observation. If your gut tells you someone is dishonest, take a step back and observe their behavior objectively. Look for patterns and evidence that support or contradict your intuition. Untrustworthy instincts can lead us astray, especially in complex social situations where our biases and preconceptions play an important role. Developing self-awareness and being aware of our biases can help us refine and trust our instincts. In conclusion, instincts are a useful tool for determining the authenticity of those around us. They should be used in tandem with rational thought and observation. By doing so, we can gain a more precise and nuanced understanding of the people we interact with, allowing us to form more genuine and meaningful bonds. Understanding inauthenticity is critical as we navigate the complexities of human relationships. Remember that genuine connections require awareness and wisdom. we investigated the key characteristics that reveal the true nature of those around us, from the inconsistencies in their stories to the unreliability of commitments. Each sign serves as a guidepost on this journey. However, the quest does not end here. Our channel aims to provide you with insights and knowledge to help you better understand human behavior and relationships. Join a community dedicated to personal development and authentic living by subscribing. Don't end the journey with this video. If you found these insights useful, click the like button and subscribe for more enlightening content. Please share your experiences and thoughts in the comment section below. Your story could be the beacon that guides others to clarity. Let's work together to make the world a more authentic place. Remember that your intuition is your compass, and your eagerness to learn is the key to relationship success. Subscribe and join us on this continuous journey of discovery. Each click, share, and subscription helps us reach more people and spread knowledge that can potentially change lives. Thank you for watching, and remember that in a world full of facades, your authenticity is your greatest asset. Embrace and nurture it, and your relationships will blossom in the light of truth. The more you show your pain, the more people will want to hurt you. Even though it does not always happen, it is common for some people to enjoy your pain or even contribute to it. Unfortunately, sadism and envy are common behaviors that can stifle personal growth in a variety of settings, including the workplace, social circles, and even families. As a result, learning not to show your weaknesses can turn you into a tree in the middle of a storm. The trunk remains firmly planted while the leaves flutter and the branches sway. This is an image of silent resilience. We will talk about how you can become even more powerful by demonstrating that you are unaffected by external or internal issues, and how each challenge teaches you to be like the tree. You do not ignore the storm by acting as if nothing bothers you. Instead, you decide not to let the rain or wind get you down. You will learn to be the master of your destiny, firm, strong, and calm. In this video, we'll look at 17 Stoic rules from Epictetus, a famous philosopher. You've probably heard about him. I also invite you to self-awareness, where strength comes from the quiet of the light that illuminates the path rather than the sound of thunder. As a result, in the coming minutes, concentrate on the content rather than the daily distractions. The first rule is to prepare to fail. The only way to progress is to attempt the impossible. To avoid being labeled an idiot, he has a different point of view. According to his philosophy, being labeled an idiot is one of the best things to happen to you because it allows you to advance. Professionally, the Stoic philosopher reminds us that overcoming results from a long process of trial and error, not a spontaneous reaction. We can fine-tune what sets us apart from excellence through trial and error. The second rule is to remember that death awaits at the end of the road. This is not advice that encourages us to be pessimistic, but rather to recognize that death is the ultimate destination of all our actions, especially our own. Once we have this in mind, we may consider whether it is worthwhile to spend 20 years of our limited life. Savings to pay for a house that weighs so much that we cannot transport it wherever we go. When death visits us, we would greatly benefit from carrying a small notebook with these Stoic principles in our bags, alongside the objects we consider indispensable for our daily lives, such as phones, credit cards, and toothbrushes. We will no longer see setbacks as misfortunes or life as the internal time we have available, but we will gain a more realistic perspective on our existence and undoubtedly make better use of our time. The third rule is to listen twice as much as you speak. Consider why nature gave us 2 ears and only 1 mouth. According to Epictetus, this is not an error or a coincidence. Instead, this reality serves a clear purpose. We are not meant to fall in love with our own voices. We advance in life by learning from the voices of others rather than from our own. We learn from others rather than repeating our own speeches. So, starting today, pay more attention to what those around you say and less attention to what you've been upholding up to this point. The fourth rule is always to be prepared for the worst and believe that we will face unfavorable circumstances in the future. This is one of the leading causes of anxiety, with devastating consequences. We are concerned that our children will drop out of school, that we will be fired, that our spouse will admit to us that they have been having an affair with someone else and will seek a divorce, or that something else bad will happen to us, such as bankruptcy. The problem is that we worry about one of these issues one day and another the next. Life's path reserves good and happy parts for us and a handful of unavoidable problems. As a result, we are constantly stressed out by various stimuli throughout the day. This is where Epictetus enters, as his proposal is drastic and effective. He says to imagine that everything you're afraid of has already happened, so what could be worse? This way, your spirit will grow. The fifth rule is to devise coping strategies to move forward with your head held high while remaining aware of the threats of fortune. The wealth we seek carries a stigma that few people can shake, and it's not just about the people who will appear out of nowhere to take advantage of our good luck. The threat to fortune is that money can change people by pretending to care about them, which is not always for the better. Once we have this highly sought-after resource, we are left with something we did not expect: guilt. Guilt is analogous to the plague we experienced. From there, our spirit may begin to poison itself. Guilt is the sixth rule and is linked to being narrow-minded. Ordinary people blame others and themselves. The wise observe everything. Today, therapists are approaching guilt as a feeling to be eradicated from our lives. The only way to win the battle with guilt is to refuse to play with it. The problem is that it leads to an easy path because we place complete blame on others or ourselves, absolving ourselves of the responsibility for correcting the mistake. Succumbing to it is a difficult temptation to overcome. Only those with a strong determination to succeed can avoid guilt while accepting responsibility for their actions. According to the seventh rule, true wealth exists in a contented spirit. Epictetus derived his definition of happiness from Stoicism, as evidenced by one of his famous quotes: "A wise man does not worry about what he lacks, but rejoices." This reflection is more than just a thought. It is advice on stopping the feeling of being burdened by riches that are not yet in our lives. When we allow ourselves to complain and mourn for what we lack, we miss out on valuable moments of happiness when we could be grateful for everything we have accomplished thus far, beyond what our eyes are trained to see. The eighth rule is to cultivate humility in your life. If you want to learn something, practice humility in your daily life. A person must learn what they think they already know. Epictetus's phrase encourages us to use our humility, particularly in learning. Going through life bragging about our knowledge separates us from the genuine knowledge that comes from the realization that we are completely ignorant of what we want to learn. We will look at everything from the perspective of a child who has the same capacity for wonder and desire to learn. The ninth rule is never to forget that your reactions determine your fate. We should not take our reactions lightly because they will determine whether we succeed or fail. Epictetus clarified that while we have no control over what happens to us, we do have control over how we respond. Misfortune can strike any of us, but while others may see it as a golden opportunity to embark on a path of self-directed growth, we must remember that what happens to us is less important than what we do with it. The 10 rule is to form alliances with winning individuals. It's strange how when someone sneezes next to us, we are instantly invaded by the fear that they will infect us. Still, we are not as cautious about avoiding negative influences. Epictetus gave us wise advice. Surround ourselves with people who inspire us to do our best, because people's behavior significantly impacts our mental health. Some people drain our energy and ruin our days, while others make us happy and energized. It is one of the wisest decisions to surround ourselves with those who bring positive vibes into our lives, while saying goodbye to those who can make us regret our birth. The 11 rule is to invest in simplicity. Why should we live frugally when we can? Today, we surround ourselves with a variety of luxuries. The solution is much simpler and more logical than you realize. Wealth cannot sustain itself. It requires dedication and a lot of daily energy to keep this system running. We enjoy luxuries and wealth, but living simply relieves us of the stress of meeting bills, loans, and credit card due dates. The 12 rule is always to perform your duties. Each of us has a significant role in society. The sun does, not needing praise or enchantments to rise each morning. It happens daily, and this is exactly what nature's job entails. We must fulfill our responsibilities or risk failing both the environment and ourselves. If we wait for praise before doing our work, we lose sight of the task and the fact that others depend on it. We have a moral obligation to finish it without waiting for anyone to remind us. The 13 rule is, stop worrying about things over which you have no control. You have control over your opinions, but not over your reputation. You have the desire and zeal to hunt, but you have no control over how many goods you have or how successful you are. Worrying and becoming irritated over things beyond our control wastes time. Epictetus believes that we must cultivate the values over which we have control. It is also our responsibility to let go of things beyond our control and let fate take care of them. The 14 rule is, ignore those who despise you. Rather than hating them, do not hate those who hate you. You are much larger and far more powerful than the person criticizing or despising you. If someone discriminates against you, don't waste your time hating them because they don't even deserve to be in your thoughts. We are encouraged not to be afraid of people who will cause us harm because their noise represents an unfortunate attempt to do so. We should ignore it and build immunity. The 15 rule is always derive value from whatever happens. It is entirely up to you whether or not to take advantage of it. These were Epictetus's words. As you can see, it is not only possible to make the best of adversity, but it is also our responsibility. You will succeed as long as you are intelligent and can recognize the opportunities presented by the circumstances. Imagine arriving at work one day only to be informed that you will be fired. Instead of despairing and accusing the universe of being against you, take the opportunity to venture into that enterprise you dreamed of while fulfilling your work schedule simultaneously. Always try to look for the positive in a situation like this. The momentum added up throughout your life will undoubtedly take you beyond. The 16 rule is, if you allow the common thoughts and attitudes of others to bother you, you give up control of your life. Anyone who can make you angry becomes your master. That person can only do this if you allow yourself to be disturbed by them. Understand that we have many keys within us, some of which lead to happiness, while others lead to emotional ruin. It is precisely this last key that we pass on to those who aggravate us. The solution is to put up a barrier that prevents us from being affected by the attitudes of others, because certainly each one is the owner of what they say and decide to follow. The 17 rule is, friendship is more valuable than wealth. Genuine friends are true wealth because they will support us when our material fortunes fail. By cultivating genuine friendships, we can make a profitable long-term investment that will be extremely useful in everyday life. Stoic principles can help us navigate difficult times with interest and resilience, because philosophy is not for fantasizing, but for applying what we have learned and moving forward. In conclusion, the timeless wisdom of Epictetus offers us invaluable guidance for leading a more meaningful and resilient life. By internalizing these principles, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and purpose. I hope you enjoyed this exploration of Epictetus's rules for life. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which rule resonated with you the most? Do you have any personal experiences or thoughts you'd like to share about these principles? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you insightful content like this. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell to never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. Remember to apply these principles daily for a more fulfilling and resilient journey.